Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had another offseason, and it was kind of an interesting offseason for our team as we kind of decided to take a little bit of a step back and let go of a couple of key players. And our roster definitely looks a little bit weaker on paper than it has in the last few years, but I think it still should be good enough to make the playoffs based on the fact we have good chemistry, and a lot of these guys are still pretty good in terms of overall rating, but definitely we are starting to take a little bit of a hit, but it's not as bad as it could have been because of the fact we got good young guys jumping into our NHL team like Hagen and Hamalainen, who are in their second season. They're both 83s. If we didn't have those type of guys jump up last season, I think this team definitely would have taken a massive hit, but having them at least kind of softened the blow, so to speak. But this is basically what I have our lineup looking like going into the season, and there is a chance that there will be some more changes, but I will justify my changes that I made in a tiny little bit after we go through the comments and all that. But this is basically what I think our team is going to be rocking with for the season. So anyways, let's get to those comments before we get to that and see what you guys have to say about the last episode. So the first one is from Friendly Ewok, who says, I say put Wilm at center and bring Del Rivera to the wing so that second line has more veteran presence to help the younger guys develop the younger guys. Probably send down Dimitra as he's the only top 6 D-man and bring up Paco and Mangone. Keep Flood as a depth guy. Buying out Sonnenberg is probably your best bet as he's only listed as a starter and won't grow past an 85-86. That's kind of exactly what I did with some of these. I'm not going to go fully in depth with my lines just yet, but basically what I did do is I was going to play Wilm at center and then Ahinen as the second line center, but it just doesn't seem to work out well. So Lehman is going to be back to being that second line center. Del Rivera is still going to be there. So Weber does have 2 very solid line mates. And we're given a big opportunity to Merrick Classic as last year he had a very good season. So I'm hoping playing with the 2 best players almost on this team that he actually gets a chance to even do better than he did last year. And hopefully he can continue producing at that goal scoring level he was at like last season. Also, I did send down Dimitra on the defensive side of things, as you can see, and I did call up Nicholas Paco and also Gregory Mangone, so those guys will be making their debut this season, and it definitely makes us a little bit weaker, but also with this coach that I decided to choose, it does make our chemistry a little bit better on the defensive side of things than it was at the end of last episode. And then he also says about buying out Sonnenberg, I have not made a decision yet with the goaltending situation. As you can see, Sonnenberg's currently scratched, and I do have the 2 other goalies in Norton and Solis, so I'm thinking we probably will end up buying out Sonnenberg, but it depends on what it's going to cost us because he is in the last year of his contract, which is nice at least, but it's still a very weird thing for me to do because I haven't bought out really much players in franchise mode. So the next comment is from Dustin Wald, who says, defense is atrocious, offense is mid, goalies are mid, chemistry on offense is the only thing saving the team right now, and I tend to disagree with that. I don't think our offense is mid. I think it's actually one of the deeper offensive cores I've had. Because if you think about it on paper, like Lassick, Ahin, and Wilm, these 3 guys are all very proven players, while at least Lassick was last season. Weber has been proven to be a good regular season guy. Lehman and Del Rivera have been pretty solid players in the series. And then from a third line perspective, these guys have been okay as well. Sergeyev hasn't played much in the NHL, but he has been a decent player. Last year you had 48 points, so that's not that bad. Mason's been a decent player, kind of like more of a depth forward, but still like 20-something plus points. So he's going to be getting a big opportunity this year with Pierre Zabottle leaving the team. And then you also have Hamalainen, who had a pretty solid first season in the NHL of 41 points. So I think we could still get good scoring throughout our first 3 lines. The fourth line is more of a defensively minded line with 2-way forwards and whatnot. So I'm just hoping that they could kind of keep the puck out of the net and chip in with offense when they can. From a defensive standpoint, there's not really much offense from this back end as most of these guys are DFDs and the fact that we have Flood scratched, but I think if we need to bring in more offense, we could always put Flood back into the lineup and scratch like one of the younger guys or send one of the younger guys back down. That doesn't go through waivers, so like Paco I don't think goes through waivers. Yeah, Paco doesn't go through waivers, so if Paco is not playing too good, we could always send him down back to the AHL, and Flood could jump right into that top 4 pairings. But we're probably not going to get a lot of offense from our defense, but we will get a good amount of offense from our actual forwards. And in our goaltending, I don't think is that bad on paper either, because, I mean, Norton's actually listed as a starting goalie. And then you also have Solis, who's listed as a starting goalie in his first season as well in the NHL. And like I said, we still have Sonnenberg technically, but he's likely going to be bought out, even though he is an elite goaltender by this game's logic. The next comment is from Michael Dose, who says, I prefer Richter as fourth line center as he's listed as a fourth liner. And I was thinking about Richter as well, but I think Addison might be the better option here, and that's why I called him up. He's kind of in his last opportunity to kind of make the NHL. He's 23 years old, only top 6 potential, 78 overall. He also is a two-way forward, and he's got the best defensive stats out of those 3 centers I was showing you guys at the end of last episode. So I think his defense being better than the other ones kind of makes more sense for a fourth line role. If we were looking for a third line center to replace Mason, maybe I would go with Richter because he's more offensively minded, I think, because I'm pretty sure he's a power forward. So I think I decided just to go more defensively minded for that fourth line because I don't want to risk giving up a lot of goals on that fourth line. The next comment is from Sandro Otaku, who says, even if Lutz were a medium top 6, that would have been better. Hopefully it's a gem he will develop to at least being a serviceable top 9 winger. Low lead 7th rounders can be a toss-up, but hopefully Boucher could become one. This team's Andre Palat. And yeah, it was a little bit of a weird draft for us in last episode because we thought one guy was going to be a low lead that was in the 2nd round, but he ended up being like a low 6. I actually could sign Hartnell for the AHL. I just realized. I thought I was going to do that, I think. Yeah, I think I was supposed to do that, but I didn't end up doing that. That's an interesting scenario. There is a lot of defenders already in the AHL, but maybe one more year for Hartnell, and then we'll sign him up. But anyways, about what Senator Talk was mentioning, let's see. You can see he's a low 6, 62 overall at 18. There is a chance he could develop into being something, but obviously that low top 6 potential kind of sucks. Like if it was a medium 6, that would be nice because he would be kind of more as a general top 6 that you get in the 1st round, but being a low 6, there's a chance that he might not make the NHL because some of them don't, some of them do. The next comment is from Souls, who says, I understand what you mean about this series being disappointing based on the results perspective, but from a narrative and storyline perspective, it's been great. Really great players, some drafted late, which is fun to see, and Will has been such a good centerpiece to the organization. I still believe, and I appreciate that, Souls. I do agree with what you're saying as well. Like, basically, I think why I think this series is kind of being a little bit more disappointing from the results perspective is because I'm comparing it directly to Anchorage. In Anchorage, we won 3 Stanley Cups with our rosters, so I think that's probably why I'm saying, hey, this team's not doing so well, because we should have already won a cup by now by the standard of Anchorage. If this was one of my first drafted glory series, I wouldn't be like saying it's a colossal failure at this point. So, but I don't even say this is a colossal failure at this point. I think obviously we built up a very good team, but we need to find a way to get that success into the playoffs as well. And then finally, we have our last comment, which obviously is from Ian.NoLove, who says, very difficult offseason, a lot of work ahead for our head coach. I'm sure that hard work has also been done outside the camera, so as usual, on the eve of the new season, the following questions have been identified for the press conference. Number 1, about the coaching staff, has the final version of the management team in both teams with the chemistry indicators been determined? And yes, I went ahead and did the coaching stuff, so I actually had to fire our AHL goalie coach, I think it was, just so I could move around our coaches a bit, and I did determine our best coach for our team is going to be the lower rated coach. That's Dubinsky. He actually has the best chemistry when it comes to the defensive core, because these two guys, they both have like negatives on the defensive side of things. So I decided I'd go with Dubinsky instead, and he would be our head coach for the NHL. As for the AHL, Lindros has like a 62% team fit, and he seems to be pretty good in terms of chemistry down there, so I decided to go with him for the head coach. Mink is going to be the assistant because he's also higher rated, and Hayduk, who used to be our AHL head coach, is going to be down to an assistant because he's definitely the worst out of the bunch. And I guess it was actually our NHL goalie coach I fired, so he's going to be getting re-signed here because I offered him a contract a little bit after I fired him because I had to do that off camera, but we are going to be getting our goalie coach back just in case you guys were wondering about that. Number 2, we want to know the final versions of the lines, their special teams and extras. How difficult was it to achieve harmony? Did you manage to make a strong composition? I love your use of words, Ian, using like harmony and composition. I don't think anybody ever would use that for lines and stuff like that. I think of art class, but yeah, this is basically what I have set up. As I said, with the forward core, this is what I think our team should look like. From a defensive standpoint, this is what we're going to be rocking with in the NHL. I think looks pretty good. And then you saw the goaltending as well. From a power play and penalty kill perspective, I did make some subtle changes, but this is basically what we're rocking with. So Lassick is going to be on the first unit, which is exciting to see how he can do with a bunch of good skilled players. Power play number 2 is going to look something like this. So Mason's still going to be on the power play just to give it more of a shooter guy from that line, but there's a lot of playmakers on this unit, so hopefully they could set each other up. And then, yeah, basically these units are pretty much the same as well. There is a -1 on this unit, but it's not the end of the world. From a penalty kill perspective, it looks like this. I think I didn't even make any changes to the penalty kill because it looked pretty good already on paper. The only change that I did make was I put Sergeyev on this third unit with Wilm because Sergeyev, I think he's listed, yeah, he's listed as a second line forward, which is kind of interesting, so I think he needs more ice time. And then from the third penalty kill on like the 3-man unit, I decided to give a big opportunity to the rookie Reese Addison, who's a 2-way forward, to see if he could be a good penalty killer there. So Wilm will not be in the spot like he normally is, just because I wanted a more defensively minded guy that actually fit the PK strategy. So yeah, it wasn't really that bad in terms of achieving harmony with our lines. It just took a little bit of rejuggling and also finding the right coach for our team. Number 3, how did the situation with the goalkeepers resolve? Will the player numbers be changed to be more suitable ones? So the goaltending situation is still ongoing. I think what I'm going to do is probably, like, after I'm done going through these comments, see what it's going to cost us to buy out Sonnenberg. And if it's not too bad, then we'll probably buy him out. If it is bad, maybe we buy out Norton instead and then rock him in Solis. But regardless, I think Sonnenberg would probably cost us more in the offseason to re-sign, while Norton should be a cheaper option. But we don't technically even need to bring back Norton in this offseason too, because we could run Solis in Burkhoff, who is in the AHL right now. So I don't even think we need both those goaltenders in at this moment, but we probably will make our decision shortly. And on also about their player numbers, I mean, we could potentially change their player numbers. I mean, Norton's is already number 33, which is fine. Solis is 32, which is fine. It's just, yeah, Sonnenberg wearing number 3 is a little bit of a weird one for a goaltender. Number 4, did that new scout with the A- rating go to Liga? And I did not do that yet, so thank you for reminding me that. I almost forgot about that, but we did have to replace one of our scouts because we found a better scout out there. I forget what his name was. I think, there is one already in Liga, so that might be him. Was it Petrolainen? Yeah, I think it was Petrolainen. Yeah, I'm almost certain it was Petrolainen. I think he actually already did go to the Liga, which is great. So we didn't even need to make that change. Perfect. Number 5, which players will remain on the reserve this season? Will the captaincy situation, or what will the captaincy situation be like with both teams? So I didn't address the captaincy at all. The captaincy is going to just stay the way it is already set up. So for the NHL, it will be Wilm, Lehman, and Kolsnik, which makes sense. I think Ahinen kind of deserves one, but Kolsnik on the defensive side of things is good because he's been a rock back there for our defensive core. And in terms of the AHL, let's see who is the captain down there, because I think Watton used to be the captain, but he was let go of in the offseason. So Richter is an assistant. Hartman is the captain now, which is okay because he might be jumping to the NHL soon. And we also got Habscheid, who's got low lead potential as a captain. Kind of surprised on those ones. I mean, Dimitra could be the captain down there based on the fact he's a vet that we had to send down. But to me, it doesn't really matter on the captains down there in the AHL. At least not just yet. Number 6, where did the players who didn't get contracts in the offseason go? Have all the players found clubs to continue their career outside of Halifax? And I think so. I'm pretty sure that those guys should have got contracts. If they didn't, that's kind of weird. But let's see where they end up signing. So if I go to the player search area, let's see where Piers the Bottle and Rizzy went, because those were our offseason losses. At least the ones that mattered the most. I am kind of curious on where like Piers the Bottle went. He went to the Tampa Bay Lightning, so he decided to go join Aiden Stajan, which is kind of funny, on a 4-year deal at $7.955 million. Technically, we did have the cap space to bring him back if we wanted to, but we didn't. But that's kind of funny that he goes to play with Aiden Stajan. There's a chance that they might be on the same line in Tampa Bay, because both of them are top 6 forwards at this point. He's only 24 too, which is kind of funny that we let him go already, because normally I wouldn't let go of a 24-year-old like that. I'd wait till his contract was done first, but it's going to be interesting to see what him and Stajan do in Tampa Bay. Hopefully they don't win a cup before us, because that would just be very disappointing. And then also Rizzy, where did Rizzy sign? He was a guy that I kind of didn't want to let go of at the same point, but we do have defenders jumping in at least, so that will help us with the defensive side of things. He signed with the Winnipeg Jets on a 3-year deal at $6.325. I feel like that's a bit of a steep contract, considering the fact that he hasn't played long in the NHL. Like, he's only played 4 seasons and had a career high of 25 points. His defensive play was great, though, so maybe that's why he got that contract. But I don't really know if he's worth that type of money. Number 7, was it possible to distribute the players based on their supposed positions? What are the final player ratings? Whether new X factors are received? And yeah, these are, I think, the final player ratings, I believe, on our team. We'll probably be able to tell once we actually start up the regular season. Preseason, sometimes there's a little bit of a boost. But I think this is what our actual team's ratings are like, because I'm pretty sure most of these guys were these ratings last season, if I remember right. AHL wise, I think AHL is always right on the right on the number right away, and it doesn't change when the season starts. So I think these guys are all actually this overall. So Richter should be a 78 by the logic here, and I'm actually gonna move him to the top line just because he has more potential now at this point than Kozlov does. And finally, Ian says, I really like the format I suggested. It's cool when the coach shares his thoughts with the fans. In any case, I think the hard work outside the camera is a must, if possible. Recording and preparing the best possible lineup of both teams for the season. Good luck, Snipe. We love our coach and this fighting team. I appreciate that, Ian, and I am very excited to see what happens this season, because I think we should be, like I said, a playoff team, but it's going to be very interesting to see how like Mason does with elevated ice time, how we do without a guy like Pierre Zabotle on our team, and how our defensive core does with Dimitra down in the AHL, and with Booze, Mangone, and Paco all getting a big opportunity this year, because this is Booze's first season as well in the NHL. So these 3 guys are all going to be making their debuts, so we need big seasons from them, and if they don't have a big season, then it could hurt us a lot. And then also the goaltending situation with Norton and Solis. Is that going to do well? Is the loss of Sonnenberg going to hurt our team? Who really knows at this point? And hopefully we also don't run into injury trouble, because that's where definitely it would detriment our team and our playoff chances. So anyways, let's go ahead and see first, before we start the season sim, what it would cost us to buy out Sonnenberg. I did really like Sonnenberg's play last year, but he is likely to be getting replaced here soon. Anyways, like I said, both these 2 guys will likely not even be on our team in next season, because I think we'll end up running Solis and Burkov, and then Michelli and Budens will probably run the AHL next year. So let's see, Sonnenberg, can I buy him out? I can't even buy him out. Can I buy him out at the start of the season? Or is it just a re-sign stage I can't buy him out? I don't think I could buy him out. I think you can only buy out during the off season, if I remember right now, which is not great if that is the case. Let's send him to the start of the preseason and see if we can buy him out. Because if I can't buy him out, I offered him an AHL goalie coaching job. That guy, yeah, I meant to offer an NHL goalie coach job. So let's go ahead and do that first. But I might be only able to buy out people in the off season, which means we might have to run all 3 goalies, which means I might literally alternate goaltenders every once in a while. So I might run like the 2 83s for a while, then I might run the 85 and the 83, so on and so forth. Because I kind of want them all have an even amount of games played almost. Like I could turn off auto goalie rotations, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Let me get that goalie coach back, because I accidentally decided to offer him an AHL coaching job, which was already filled. Yeah, it was you, because you have good teaching as a goalie coach, so we will bring you in as our NHL goalie coach. And hopefully he wants to come back to this organization, because I literally just fired him a few days ago. Okay, so let's see. Can I buy out Sonnenberg now at the start of the preseason, or do I have to wait till the start of the regular season? Oh yeah, Ahonen is up for renewal and stuff this off season. Ooh, he's gonna be pricey. Right now, I don't think I could give him an extension. I might have to wait, but he also might have a killer year. I might look at the 85% trick with him, because I know he's a crucial piece to this team still. But can I buy him out now? No, I cannot. God damn, man, that's not good. That is not good. What would 85% be like for Ahonen? He is already 28, so I want to take that into account. If I did a 6-year deal, I can't even open up my calculator on my phone because my phone's charging. I know I'm taking a long ass time to start up the season sim, and I apologize about that, but let's see what an 85% of this would be, and if it would be worth it. It would be probably less than I think he was making before. Yeah, it would. 6 years is not bad, because that takes him till he's 34. I think I'm going to try and lock him up since we have the money now. And he's also one of the more important pieces on this team. I know he's not as good as we were hoping he would be, but he is still very good when he's playing with really good players. So let's try and get him for 9,075. See if he accepts that. It's only a 6-year deal. It's not like it's another 8-year deal, but we'll see if he accepts that. And then, yeah, the goaltending situation, if I can't buy out a goalie, is going to be very interesting to see who ends up running away with it. I mean, I don't mind having 3 different goalies playing this season because then we could kind of go with the best one in the playoffs. So we might end up going with that. But let's go to the end of the preseason, see how we do. Sonnenberg's not even going to play a preseason game. There's the goalie coaching, which is great. Ahonen decided to accept that extension, so Ahonen is back for the next 6 years. Is it a bad deal? Maybe down the road, but at the same time, it could pay off very well if he's playing next to Wilm, as we know from the past. So preseason 6-2, which might be a good thing, might not be, because sometimes you have a good preseason, you have a bad regular season. Wilm led the team in points with 12 points in 8 games. Okay, let's into the start of the regular season and see if I can buy out Sonnenberg now. If not, we might literally change our goalie combination every month, which I know could get tedious and add a lot of time to this episode, but if I can't buy him out, yeah, I can't buy him out. And I'm not able to trade goalies in this series, so we're going to have to run with 3 different goalies this year, but that's okay. That is okay. Hopefully at least one of them plays really well. So for this first month, we'll run the 2 83s. We'll give Norton a big opportunity, and also Solis will get to play his first few games. Then likely we'll scratch Norton and put in Sonnenberg, and then we'll probably scratch Norton. We'll kind of alternate between the 2 of those guys. Because I think Solis will always be in the lineup just because he's a rookie or maybe our future starting goaltender. But we will alternate on the other 2 goaltenders, I'm pretty sure. So let's go to the 31st, and hopefully we don't have any morale problems, because that would not be ideal. Oh no, Lastik's already been injured for a little bit. That's not ideal. When I said I didn't want injuries, this is exactly what I didn't want to have happen. So back spasms to one of our best players, at least as of last season. We do start off the season with a 3-game win streak, but then we end up losing 2 straight games, and Lastik has returned. Sheriff was getting some top-line ice time, which is kind of neat to see the Sheriff getting an opportunity to play with his old line mates again, but it does suck that he's now a depth forward on this team. We did lose 4 straight games, and then we bounced back with 3 straight wins. So a very weird start for the team. We end up winning our first 3 games, then losing 4 straight, then winning 3 straight. So a bit inconsistent, but that's exactly kind of what we expected. Well over point per game. He also has 8 goals in the first 10 games of the season. So who knows, maybe this is another Richard winning year for Mauricio Wilm if he's able to keep that going. So Norton's going to come out. We're not going to take a look at any goalie numbers just yet. Sonnenberg's going to come in. He didn't drop at all, which is good, which means morale hasn't been affecting him yet. Hopefully he understands the situation this team is in, and we'll let him stay in as a starter with Solis for the month of November, and it will probably go back to Norton. Let's see how this team does with Sonnenberg back in net. Lose 1 game, win 1 game, win another, win another. Okay, we've had a couple of good winning streaks this season. That's not too bad. I was going to take a look at Tampa's lines to see where Pierre Zabal fit in. Holy crap, an 11-5 win over the Florida Panthers. Yikes, Florida must not be that good, or we're just very good. Okay, 13-8-2. It's not bad at all. Wildcard spot's on 27 points. We're on 28. Doesn't really matter at this stage, but could be a bit better. But obviously this team, like I said, did take a little bit of a hit. Wilm's up to 15 goals in 23 games and 27 points, but his goal scoring definitely dropped off after the first 10 games. Let's take Sonnenberg back out, and we'll keep Solis in. We're not even going to look at Solis' stats and scratch that guy because, like I said, him being the potential starting goaltender next season, I want him to be playing as much as possible. And, yeah, Norton and Sonnenberg will just get to alternate a little bit. Okay, let's go another month and see if we could get well above 500 here, because I mean right now it's been pretty solid, but it's still inconsistent enough that we're not in a super great spot, but there is still a lot of season to go. So let's go to January the 1st and see how we do in this month, see if we can string together some more wins. 7-6 win and then a 7-4 loss. So good defensive or good offensive effort and a bad defensive effort. Yeah, we're still a little bit inconsistent, but that's okay. Kind of having a better month, it looks like, than other months I've had so far this year. Yeah, for sure, definitely. We're going to be 22, 11, and 3, which is pretty damn good. We are 1 point back as second place in the Atlantic Division. The wildcard spots are at 43 and at 41. We're at 47. So we are still close to not being in a playoff spot, but we are doing good. Wilm's up to 49 points now in 36 games. His goal scoring is starting to drop off, it looks like, a bit. And then his offense is still very good, though. He's got more assists and goals this year, which is a little bit uncharacteristic of him. But let's go back to the goaltending situation and flip-flop the two goalies as we normally do. And yeah, hopefully we end up making the playoffs still this year, and hopefully we have a good playoff run ahead of us, because to be honest, the regular season isn't going to matter too much as long as we make the playoffs. It's once we get into the playoffs if we could actually string together some series wins and get ourselves to a conference finals, a cup finals this year, because we need to take that leap forward in the playoffs. Regular season wise, we definitely did that last year when we won the President's Trophy. We showed that we could win during the regular season, but we got to be able to do it in the playoffs as well. Okay, let's go to February the 1st and see how our team does this month. Let me drink some water while we're doing this, just because my voice literally dies on me way too much when I'm recording. Not the best month so far, a couple bad losses, but we are still getting some wins tier 2, which is good. And a couple extra frame losses. Sonnenberg has broken his ankle. Well, that is good we didn't buy him out. It's good that we have 2 goaltenders. We actually technically have 3, because we also have Burkhoff in the minors who could play, but Sonnenberg breaking his ankle is very unfortunate. He's going to miss an entire month, I think, maybe even 2 months. And he will be back at least before the playoffs if we are to make it there. And now Booze has been injured with a concussion. Oh boy. Now we're getting the injury bug to slap us in the face. So Felipe Flood will come in for Booze. I actually didn't even take a look at Felipe Flood and see if he was losing morale. But we're 28, 15, and 6. 67 points now for Wilm. He's already had a 30 all season, so maybe he's still going to hit 50 or 60 this year, depending on the second half of the season. Usually he has really good second halves, if I remember right. Unless I'm thinking of Asher Vance from Chicago, but we're going to have to run with Solis and Norton. And yeah, Sonnenberg being injured really sucks. Booze being injured sucks as well because he's a rookie. But Felipe Flood will get a chance to play. And you can see there's no negative with Felipe Flood jumping into that top 6, which is good. I guess Mangone's actually a 77, not a 78, but that's okay. He is still getting a chance to play, which is nice. Considering he was a low top 4, he wasn't even a guy that should have made the NHL, basically. Okay, let's keep on rolling. Let's keep on rolling. See if this goaltending situation is going to still do well enough. Without Sonnenberg, it's going to definitely hurt us a little bit, I think. But at the same time, we've been testing it out all season, and we're above 500 still. So I think our team still should be able to get some wins here without Sonnenberg being in the lineup. And Booze is already back, so I guess Flood only got to play the 1 game. So, unfortunate for Felipe, he's going to be scratched again. He didn't lose any morale for being scratched, it seems like, either, which is kind of surprising, but it's kind of nice at the same time. Okay, that's all good and ready to go. And there's a shootout loss, at least it's a point. Like, if we're going to lose, at least lose in the shootout, you know? But yeah, we should easily be a playoff team at the rate we're playing at. Louis Mathieu has been injured with injured groin. I don't know what that means, injured groin. It could be very inspecific with these injuries, but we'll go to place player. And Sharov will be jumping into the 4th line, which is nice to get him back into the lineup. And Louis Mathieu is already back, which is good. At least it wasn't a super long-term injury. At least it wasn't super long-term. So Mathieu back in. Seems like this team's doing relatively well for the players we lost in the offseason. 37, 16, and 9. We're first place in the Atlantic Division now. We have leapfrog the Sabres, and we have a game in hand. We are 13 points up on a wild card spot. We're in a very good situation right now. We are not the top team in the league at the moment. It's the Chicago Blackhawks, the Rangers, and the Penguins who are up there. So there is a chance we could still win the President's Trophy this year, which obviously I don't think we really want after what happened last year with our team. Let's just get past this trade deadline because we obviously don't care about the deadline. We're just going to go continue simulating. Thank you. And we will see what is going on with this team. There was a big trade at the deadline. Apparently, as Connor Geekie gets sent to Edmonton with a second and a third-round pick for Nylander in a third, which is a goaltender. It's not William Nylander because I think he retired already. Minnesota acquires 2 second-rounders for a defender who goes to Tampa. So Tampa's loading up, it seems like, over these last few years, which is kind of interesting. So maybe Stajan's going to have a chance to win a cup soon with Tampa. But 38, 16, and 9 at March the 1st. And Wilm is up to 81 points in 63 games. I don't know if he hits a 50-goal season. He could still, because we do have 19 games left. But there is also a chance he hits 100 points this year. There is a realistic chance at that. Still a little bit of a down year goal-scoring-wise, it looks like, for him, but still pretty good. Yeah, we are actually very close to being a President's Trophy winning team. The Penguins are literally only 3 points up on us. Rangers are a point up on us. Blackhawks are a point up on us. So we're technically like top 5 in the league at the moment. I don't know if it's our offense or our defensive play that's been good. But we're 7-1-2 in our last 10 games. So let's continue simulating. Once Sonnenberg's back from injury, he'll get the chance to play a little bit more games. I think he returns here on the 17th. So we'll go to the 16th. And he should be back to full health by then. He might appear to be good earlier than that. Man, our team is killing it. Holy shit. We've just won 5 straight games, and we were already 7-1-2 in our last 10 games. And there's a loss. As Sonnenberg is back, let's actually put him in already. Might as well, because it said fully healed. So, because I don't like that notification when it says that he's back and then he gets re-injured. I always wait till it says fully healed first. So, boom. He's in with Solis now. And, okay, 45, 17, and 9. We had a great month. We are on 99 points. And we are tied with a 3-way tie with the Rangers and Penguins, potentially for the President's Trophy at the moment. If we win a second straight President's Trophy, I'm going to be happy with the team's regular season success, but if it doesn't transpire to the playoff success, is this going to look like another memorial that basically showed what a good season we had, but it didn't last, basically. Oh, boy. Okay, let's continue. Let's go to the end of March. We're definitely a playoff team. But the question is for how long at this rate. We're just completely blowing through teams. And we're probably going to get swept in the playoffs by Tampa Bay, watch, of all teams. That's my guess. 50, 18, and 5. Or not 18 and 5, 18 and 10. We have points in 60 of 78 games. Jeez. We are on at 110. The New York Rangers are at 110 as well. Penguins are at 109. There's a chance that us and the Rangers might be up there for the President's Trophy again, which is kind of crazy. This game against Pittsburgh is going to be pretty big in terms of winning that. So final 4 games. Let's do actually 3 of the games first. Pittsburgh, can we beat another really good team? Yes, we can. We do beat Buffalo, and we beat Calgary. We're going to really win the President's Trophy in back-to-back years, right? Yep. I think we might. 116. There is the Rangers on 114. I think there's a realistic chance that we would just won the President's Trophy because, yeah, Rangers are on 51 wins, which means I think technically ROW-wise, even if they tie us, I think we win it. Really, we wanted to win another President's Trophy, huh? 53, 19, and 10. We didn't even have 20 regulation losses this season. Incredible. Points in 63 of 82 games. Did the Rangers play their last game of the season yet? No, they did not. Let's see. They did there. We did win the President's Trophy. So we are President's Trophy winners for the 2nd consecutive season. It is either a blessing or not. It might be a curse, to be honest. Well, what a year for the team. And Wilm had 111 points. Didn't hit 50 goals, but still a very good year from Mauricio Wilm, as he normally does. And yeah, we have won the President's Trophy for the 2nd straight season. At least we're a great regular season team, because if we weren't doing good during the regular season, that'd be concerning. But literally, it's kind of funny because Dustin said that our team was kind of mid. I don't think our team was kind of mid if our team was able to pull that off. Back-to-back President's Trophy, scoring 4.02 goals per game. We were the top offensive team in the NHL. After losing our third-line center, who could have been a good player but didn't end up. Former first overall pick, even for that matter. 330 goals for, which is like almost 20 more goals than the next closest team. Goals against per game wise, we were the third best defensive team behind Pittsburgh and Chicago. So great offense, great defense. Power play clicked at 23.4%, which is the best in the NHL. So seems like I worked out pretty good with the coach we have. Also, penalty kill wise, we were not as good. So our penalty kill might be our only downfall, as it was more average, or below average actually, than expected. But that's okay. 10 shorthanded goals this year is one of the most in the NHL though. 28, 10, and 3 on home ice. 25, 9, and 7 on the road. And 7, 2, and 1 in our last 10 games. We're going to get swept in round 1, aren't we? I could just smell it. Let's take a look at these player stats here. So, starting off with our centers. Wilm, 111 points, as we were saying, plus 45. What a year for the GOAT. He is up to how much career points now? 1,343. He is killing it. He's 32 years old at this point, so he's probably got a few more seasons left in the tank. But being a franchise player, I think he could potentially play till he's like 40 years old. And he is still signed for 5 more years after this season. Hinton on 89 points. That's why I re-signed him, because he's going to be good with Wilm regardless. Really solid season from him. What the hell is that? Dan Mason came out of nowhere with a 40-goal season. And he's a pending free agent, I think. The guy's making $1.4 million and he just had a 40-goal season. I don't even think I expected that in the slightest. That's just as surprising as last year with Vlasic, but maybe even more surprising because his career high before this was 13 goals. He jumped up drastically and he got 5 power play goals, so he got a couple power play goals, but still 35 regular strength goals. 9 game winner goals, or game winning goals. I don't know where that came from, but Dan Mason is likely going to leave the team because he's going to probably demand too much this offseason, my guess. Addison on 23 points, plus 15 for the rookie. That's exactly what I wanted from a fourth line two-way forward. Fantastic. Was he had any short-handed points? No short-handed points. Didn't do really that great on the face-off dot either, but he's a rookie. At least he had a pretty solid season. He is only a 77 now, which is kind of weird. Huh. Don't know why he dropped off a little bit. And then Sherov was fantastic as a depth option. He played on the top line mostly, but 8 points in 7 games, plus 6. Only 3 shots in those 7 games, but yeah, the Sheriff, great depth forward for our team at the moment. Vlasic on 93 points, 39 goals, so not as good goal scoring wise as last year, but still, that's why you put him on the top line with some really good players. He just had a career high in points. So very, very solid from Marek Vlasic. Still signed for 2 more years. Weber had 72 points. That's pretty solid. Hopefully he can do better in the playoffs this year, though. Lehman on 70 is pretty good, but it is a little bit not great considering we just gave him a big 8-year extension that's kind of costly. So he needs to be a little bit better. It's probably because he's not playing on the top line, though. Like if he was playing where Vlasic was, maybe roles would be reversed. Hamalainen on 66 points. Let's go, Hamalainen. We did lock him up on a four more year deal technically, so he is still with us for quite a while. That's a very solid season for a third line guy that also gets power play. Haken on 32 points is really good considering I think he only gets fourth line ice time and penalty kill time probably too. Yeah, 908 on ice. That's a good season from Taro Haken. He's also not locked up here. I thought I locked him up, but it must have been Sergeyev. Right wing wise, Del Rivera on 79 points. Pretty damn solid. Sergeyev on 46 points is pretty good. And Mathieu on 32 points is pretty solid. So, yeah, we definitely had very good depth scoring throughout our entire lineup. Because our entire team had over 30 plus points, I think, on offense. Except for Addison, I guess. But he's a rookie. Makes sense. So, that's pretty good depth scoring. Very good plus minuses throughout the board as well. From a defensive standpoint, Sea-Doo had 35 points and was a plus 65. God damn. That might be tied for like the best plus minus on my team I've ever had with some other random dudes. Jeez, like Stewart from my Detroit series a few years back. Damn, man. Maddox Boys on 33 points and a plus 57. So apparently splitting up the 2 DFDs worked out well. Boys had his best offensive season in quite a while. He also had a great plus minus. Kolesnik played with Paco. That worked out well as well. Kolesnik on 32 points. Paco on 18. Booz had 11 plus 16. Mangone 8 points plus 19. And Flood had 2 points in 2 games. So the 3 rookie defensemen, Paco, Booz, and Mangone, were very solid for our team. Goaltending-wise, who was the best goaltender? Not really a significant one. Solis played the most games because he technically was the guy that didn't get pulled out of the lineup, but he did pick up 5 of our shutouts. So I think Mark Solis was the best goalie we had. He actually was 22, 5, and 4. Holy crap. Is there a chance he could win the Calder this year as the best rookie? Probably not. But still, he definitely deserves to be up there. Norton was also right around the same in terms of goals against and save percentage, but he did only have the 1 shutout. And Sonnenberg was the worst out of the bunch, which is kind of interesting. Expected a little bit more out of him there, but all 3 goalies played pretty similarly, and they all played right around the same amount of games. Okay. So there is our player stats. Let's look at stats around the league, and then also who we're going up against in round number 1. So Tuukka Kuda led the league in points with 127. Kind of wish I had the chance to draft that guy. William Eklund, number 2. So Nashville's very good. Draisaitl up there. Terry Nichols. Joakim Kimmel up there. So yeah, Nashville's very good. And there is Mauricio at number 6. Best goal scorer was Leon Draisaitl with the 68. Then you had Tuukka Kuda on 61. Nichols on 58. Koskinen on 58. Willem finished top 10 in goal scoring, which is pretty good to see. Terms of fun stats. Well, not really fun stats. Selke candidates. And we'll take a look at fights for fun, too. The best... yeah, it's likely going to be Svoboda that wins the Selke. Very good face-off numbers. Very good takeaways. You could also make an argument, though, for Leo Carlson. 56% on the draw, 136 takeaways. And most fights for fun. Braden Toms again. This guy's always fighting a ton. 21 fights this year. So there is that. He also had 82 points. That's pretty impressive. Best defenseman for points is Brant Clark with 81 points plus 39. Dragicevic up there. Darlene still playing up there. Jamal McKenzie. First time I've ever seen that name. Not bad at all. Okay. Best goaltender this season in terms of wins was Askarov. Most shutouts by a starter was Blake Blunden in Chicago. Best save percentage by a starter, Blake Blunden in Chicago. And best goals against average, Blake Blunden in Chicago. So Blake Blunden likely going to be the Vezina winner by a unanimous vote. Had a lot of wins, had a great amount of shutouts, great save percentage and goals against. 90 overall goaltender. I don't even remember this guy getting drafted. Wow. What a beast this guy has turned out to be, at least as of this season. But will he have that success in the playoffs? Last year he won the Stanley Cup, it looks like. Or a few years ago he won the Stanley Cup for Chicago. Or close to it, actually. He lost in the finals, I think. Because it's only 15 wins. Unless his backup got the cup. That's kind of crazy. In rookie skater-wise, let's see. Damian Addison. So the Addison brothers. Interesting. So there's Addison for Ottawa with 75 points. Teravainen number 2. Yeah, that's 75 points. I don't think there's a chance our goalie can win Rookie of the Year. He didn't even play probably enough games to be qualified for it, but I still say Mark Solis was one of the best rookie goalies I've seen in a while. Not necessarily save percentage-wise, but shutout-wise, goals against-wise. But it could also be because we have a good team in front of him. So there is that. Let's see who we're going up against in the first round of the playoffs. Who is it going to be? Is it a team we played before? It will be the Montreal Canadiens. Oh my goodness. We run into Montreal like every second season, I think. And it's not great. They were 42, 35, and 5, so not very good. But we know that they likely still have some very good players on that team. Let's take a look at what they're looking like. I really hope we can beat them. Because we got to contain Caulfield if he's still playing. But he might have retired last year. I don't remember. No, he didn't retire yet. But yeah, this is definitely still a very similar team than the one we played before. So Malcolm Spence, Berkeley Catan, and Cole Caulfield. Filthy top line we got to shut down. Second line, Slavkovsky, Hines, who I think is new, and Nick Suzuki still playing at 37. So pretty solid second line. Suzuki definitely dropping off a lot though. Third line, Rudolph Niederberger. What a name. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Luke DeVoe and Zachary Rammer. So a good third line, or weak third line, I should say more. Darius Holmberg, Serge Brisebois, and Sergei Ivanov. So definitely they're not as good as they were in the past, but if we can't contain that top line, it's going to be problematic. Defensively, it's not terrible, but it's pretty average. They have Nils Lundqvist and David Reinbacher. Victor Soderstrom still there. Gustav Gerbeshkov, Caden Gooley, and Dalton Lockhart. Goaltending-wise, they still do have Tucker Perreault and Ernest Perron. And scratch-wise, they have Marko Heikkinen and Dmitry Zharkov. So I think basically the keys to victory is as it always was when we played Montreal. Contain the top line and you have a chance to win. You do not contain that top line, like you don't contain these two guys especially, then there is a very big recipe for disaster there. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the first round of the playoffs against the Montreal Canadiens as we look to hopefully not be the same team as last year where we won the President's Trophy and then we could not get far. We want to be doing a lot better this year in the postseason, and it starts next episode. So anyways, anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.